Um, kind of had a new driver. They seemed a little, I wouldn't say wild, but they seemed to be a little bit more speedy when it came to driving the bus. And obviously, they haven't been taught, the correct routine or the correct area to do the, I guess you could say, the route safely without bumping into things. Because we ran over something, I don't know what it was in Patterson, but I was trying to doze off a little bit, get some rest before coming home here in Newman, and whatever bump that was in Patterson, it's like woke me up. And then of course we had the little like bump on the sidewalk or whatever it was on the streets that scraped the buses. But anyway, I wanted to come on here because I put this hood on because it is cold, and zip this over a little more. I wanted to come on here because as the title and the description kind of talks about and everything, it seems that, it was only, I guess you could say, a pipe dream, like fantasy that would never become reality. Fantasy that would never become reality. And that was the fact of WWE even considering the notion, if you will, of doing trios championships, basically six-man tag team championships, or even six-woman tag team championships if they wanted to take it a bit further. Those kind of things seem like a pipe dream, like they would never happen. And yet, here we are now, in an unprecedented time, where basically Vince McMahon is retired, pretty much confirmed to be done and will never come back. And Tony Khan, who is the boss, the chairman, the CEO of his companies AEW and Ring of Honor. Yes, he does now own Ring of Honor. He's owned it since this spring, or since earlier this year, in case you guys haven't noticed. But Tony had always been talking about, since the very beginning of AEW, of introducing the potential of trios titles. That's what he wanted to do. And he had to wait. He had to wait for certain things to kind of, be done and everything. He had to wait for certain things to be done to, make those finally become a reality. And some might say Tony's kind of championship obsessed. Championship title obsessed, along with faction obsessed or something. Hold on for a sec while I bring this camera down for a moment. Well, like I said, some people would say that Tony is championship obsessed and everything. And because he's got so many championships all across the board from, not just his own promotions championships, AEW's, but you got Ring of Honor, but he's got the Ring of Honor championships now. He has occasionally, the appearance and acknowledgement of the AAA and even the New Japan IWGP heavyweight tag team titles. Those are separate titles anyway, AAA tag titles and IWGP heavyweight tag titles. But anyway, he has those. He has the novelty championship that Taz created for himself originally back in ECW, that's now held by his son Hook. The FTW title. It's like It's like Tony Khan is obsessed with championships, and the latest ones to pretty much be brought into existence were the All-Atlantic Championship and the Trios Championships. And for WWE, at one point, you think they would have been put in that category. I mean, there wasn't a time that you could think of that WWE didn't have a lot of belts themselves. But here's the thing. They didn't oversaturate the company with their amassing of championships either. Because they tried to basically make it more simpler. Like, okay, here's your tag titles for Raw. Here's your tag titles for SmackDown. Here's your women's title for SmackDown. Here's your women's title for Raw. Here's your WWE title for Raw. Here's your Universal title for SmackDown. They tried to simplify it. Yeah, I know it sounds similar to what's going on with Tony Khan and his companies, but you got to remember, this was one company, and they were assigning championships to specific brands to try to differentiate them from each other. And if they felt like it, like we've seen recently, they would indeed unify them, like they did with the WWE Universal title, like they did with the tag titles. They would unify them. And if they want to, they do the same with the women's titles. And they even gave both brands their own secondary titles, with the U.S. title being on Raw and the Intercontinental title being on SmackDown. So, the obvious question, though, is, with all that mentioned, and now Triple H running things, if you will, and all these people coming back, you have all these factions, being created or being put together as a result. The question obviously is the time right for WWE to take a page out of AEW's playbook, out of Tony Khan's playbook, out of the Ring of Honor playbook? Is it time for them to basically create their own set of trios World Six-Man Tag Team titles? And the reason this gets brought up is because when you look at the fact that you have all these different groups now, you have the Brawling Brutes, you have Imperium, you have the New Day, who else do you got? Once they come to the main roster, you got the Schism, you got them. Like I say, you got the Brawling Brutes, you got Imperium, you got New Day. The list could go on. You got the Bloodline. I mean, you have enough factions in there to where you could create six-man tag team titles, trios titles, and they'd probably be treated more prestigiously, believe it or not, than the way Tony is treating his six-man titles for Ring of Honor and trios titles for AEW. And that's an obvious fact. That's not throwing shade at Tony Khan or his company, but the way things are being booked over there right now with him, as I tried to say before, trying to prove, and everybody else can see it, that that not only is he a super fan, a super wrestling fan, but that he, as a fan, can basically do what people that have years of experience, in the business, are do. Basically, he wants to try to prove that a fan can do a better job than those that have had years of experience in the business. And right now, it's catching up to him, and it's making him lose control. It's making him make decisions that he shouldn't still be making, because the guard has changed on the other side of the pond with WWE. And like I said, with the things of the Bloodline, the New Day, Brawling Brutes, Imperium, groups in NXT, like it's a judgment day, if you will. You have plenty of teams to do a trios championship tournament, as well as create a trios, a 6-man championship tournament. And again, it would probably be given more prestige and more value and recognition towards it than what's going on with AEW, and Ring of Honor under Tony's watch. Now, the question is, should WWE do it? Should WWE consider, should Triple H, Nick Khan, and Stephanie McMahon consider creating the 6-man tag team titles, for the company, trios titles? And I think, obviously, I might be just one of the few majorities, or one of the few in a majority, but I think, I think honestly they should consider it. They should consider it because, again, you have the Bloodline, you have the New Day, you have Imperium, you have the Brawling Brutes, you have Judgment Day, the Schism, you name it, all out there now. So why not go for it? Why not make these titles a reality and go from there and see what happens? They might be well received, better than people think, and again, they might be booked, better than what people think compared to what's going on with AEW and Ring of Honor under Tony Khan's watch. But we'll have to see. We'll have to see what they have planned. I would like to see it happen. Again, you have plenty of groups to make it work. You can even put some people together with, already established teams and make it work too. So we'll see what they do. We'll see what they do. But do you think they should? I think they should. Let me know what your thoughts are about it down below in the comments, as well as doing this live chat if you haven't already. Support me at Venmo at Brian-Roma-2 and at Cash App at BWRose98 at my Teespring store as well. And until next time, guys, I will talk to y'all later. I am home now, and by the way, as you notice, this is live, which means I do have minutes once again from my phone, which enables me to do this kind of stuff. But let me know what your thoughts are, and I am out.